everyone, we're Tim and Shannon. And this is Hornblower, our beloved Baba 40 that we've spent the last 7 years renovating and is now our home as we sail around the Caribbean. After 6 amazing months in beautiful Georgetown, it's finally time to pull anchor and make our way back to Florida for the final boat repairs from our lightning strike. There is safety in numbers, so our friends are joining us as we make the first sail from Georgetown to Long Island. It's a beautiful sunny day on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, but we've got some waves and exiting the cut out of the harbor to the south proves to be challenging with the wind and the current hindering our progression. Slowly, we make it out into the open water and set our sails for the 27-mile journey. The winds aren't completely in our favor, being tight on the nose, so we have to do some tacking back and forth. But after a comfortable 6-hour sail, we drop anchor in Calabash Bay. Nestled on the enchanting Long Island in the Bahamas, Calabash Bay is a breathtaking destination renowned for its pristine beaches and natural splendor. As we arrive at the secluded paradise, we're greeted by a seemingly endless stretch of powdery white sand that glows under the warm Caribbean sun. The sand is incredibly soft, inviting us to sink our toes into its velvety embrace. The beach at Calabash Bay exudes an aura of serenity and seclusion, making us feel as if we discovered a hidden gem. The absence of large crowds and commercial development allows us to unwind and immerse ourselves in the natural beauty of the surroundings. Once we get settled, we notice what appears to be an upscale resort across the anchorage. Perched beachfront in the middle of the resort was a 2-story open-air tropical beach bar. We hop in our dinghies and make a beeline to see if the natives are friendly. As luck would have it, they are welcoming of odorific sailors bearing no shoes. We arrive at happy hour and enjoy cold beverages and complimentary conch fritters. The locals and resort personnel are the kindest and share freely to accommodate our stay on the island.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. Tired snowflakes are coming down.
The calm and peaceful ambiance of Calabash Bay extends well into the evening. As the sun begins to set, the sky transforms into a canvas of breathtaking hues, painting the horizon with shades of orange, pink, and purple. It's an awe-inspiring spectacle that invites us to pause and appreciate the beauty of nature's artistry.
I can promise you're the only thing I see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away. Build a secret place for you and me.
We start day 2 by checking out the surroundings. We notice some caves and head over to explore. We continue on through the inland lagoon, making our way under the bridge to the mangrove flats and discover a small blue hole along the way. Coming out on the other end, we can continue south to see if we can find some good spots to snorkel and spearfish. We're making our way around Hog Key, a small island south of Calabash Bay, and as we round the corner, we see why it's called Hog Key. Finally, we end up rafting together and just enjoying the warm sun and crystal blue water. Day 3, and we're off the boat today to check out Long Island. We've rented an SUV with our buddy boat friends and plan to make our way south on the island to see the sights. Nice change of pace from our daily boat life routines, and nice to get the opportunity to photograph something other than boats, sunrises, and sea critters. The island is about 80 miles long and no wider than 4 miles wide at its widest point. We start with a dinghy ride over to the Cape Santa Maria Resort to pick up our vehicle. So impressed with the resort when we stopped by the first evening for drinks, we were eager to check it out during the day and try to capture the flavor of this resort in pictures. The resort has an old-time, open-air, tropical, kind of festive, kind of classy vibe about it, perhaps even a hint of plantation. The colors and decor provide stimulation for the senses. Initially, Tim sets out for a quick trip around the resort to find something interesting to shoot, and was immediately intercepted by the resident house cat that appears to be more eager than Tim to get the session started. Pose after pose after pose. Clearly, this cat was experienced, a professional, and was working Tim for the opportunity it was. Mysterious, adventurous, lustful, playful, adorable. The cat had all the poses down pat. The photo session ends and we all hop in the SUV to get started. First stop on our journey is a local farmer's market. Housed in a nondescript, open-windowed building, the inside is arranged with maybe half a dozen local vendors with their goods displayed on small tables and benches. Mostly fresh produce and fruits, but a few vendors have made hand trinkets and crafts. Apparently, we had arrived late and, according to the local farmers, much of the produce had already been sold. But we couldn't be more pleased with what was available and how reasonably priced everything was. Back in the SUV and a short way down the road, we eye a local grocery store and make a quick U-turn to see what was available there. Again, a small, quaint, unassuming place, but surprisingly, this place is stocked with stuff we hadn't seen since leaving the States 8.5 months ago. This little store is again reasonably priced by Bahamian standards, and we are grateful for the opportunity to fill our ship's stores. Next on our agenda is to continue further south to take a dip in the famous Dean's Blue Hole and the Hidden Caves. Dean's Blue Hole is one of the deepest holes in the world at 633 feet deep and often used by free divers from around the world for training and competition. Unfortunately, a lingering rain shower quells our enthusiasm to jump into the blue hole at that time. and the guy who runs the caves is off island and unavailable. So we head to the Flying Fish Marina for lunch, and it is also closed. Kinda how it is in the islands. But the sights we see along the way are worth the drive.
Thinking someday we will burst. You and I are falling behind and I'm ready to go. Get out while we're whole. Now take my advice. Take my advice. Let go, let go. I wanted you. I know. You feel it too. Cut loose, cut loose.
Next stop is Mac's Conch Bar and Grill. Included in all the local and online literature, this place is famous. Initially billed to us by a helpful local as a touristy place, if this place is touristy, we're happy to be tourists. Imagine a quaint island dive bar atmosphere, the perfect combination of local wildlife meandering through as you dine, and so much stuff on display, your visual senses are sure to be overloaded long after your visit concludes. The owner's name is Gary, not Max. Curious, we ask about the discrepancy in the name, and Gary openly proceeds to enlighten us, starting his story from the beginning, the very beginning. One of 7 siblings, Gary was born on the property. Per Bahamian tradition, Gary, the youngest son, inherited family property, about 1.5 acres with 150 foot of highway frontage. He developed the restaurant on the road 40 years ago. In his early days, he was a conch diver and fisherman, and his friends thought he was crazy for diving with sharks. The movie Mad Max had come out and was a popular movie at the time, and his friends nicknamed him Mad Max for all of his crazy antics. When he started the restaurant, he thought the popularity of the name would be a great marketing tool, so he went with it. Clearly a successful entrepreneur, Gary has created a pleasing, stimulating atmosphere, and like that house cat earlier in the morning, he knew how to work his audience. He knew great food, great atmosphere, and fair prices would keep folks coming back. He knew that sharing his story would enhance the tourist experience and bid goodwill in the future. Completely nourished, we bid Gary a farewell, but not a goodbye. No question we'll be back. The day was getting long, and we head for our last stop for the day, the Lucayan and Christopher Columbus Monument on the north end of the island. Still miles away, we race toward the other end of the island, hoping to grab a drink at the Busted Bridge Bar before climbing up to the observation deck of the monument. But yep, the Busted Bridge Bar was also closed upon our arrival. Island time was getting the better of us today. Oh well, park the SUV, complete the 100 steps up, and arrive at the monument to take in the sunset. Where Columbus actually landed seems to be a topic of debate in the islands, but locals here believe that Columbus had first landed here because the historical logs describe unmistakable white cliffs, and the white cliffs on Long Island are the only white cliffs in the area. The view from the top of the monument was spectacular. Highest point on the island, 360 degrees, and unobstructed. This end of the island was ringed with coral heads and reefs. Visible as darker areas in the background of the deep blue sea, the shadows cast on the reefs as the sunset progressed continually morphed the shape and position of the reefs until they finally vanished into the darkness. As I sit there perched on the monument, I couldn't help but ponder the vastness of the seas and the adversaries of sailors before us that navigated the waters without the aid of satellite GPS navigation, communications, detailed maps, and sophisticated vessels. We make our way back to the resort to return the SUV and recap the day over a few adult beverages and some more delicious food. With Sailor's Midnight fast approaching, we settle up with the resort and hop back into our dinghies for the short ride back to our boats. After exploring the land, it was now time to explore the sea. So on day 4, we don our wetsuits and head out to do some snorkeling and spearfishing. The crystal clear waters of the bay are teeming with marine life, making it a paradise for snorkelers and divers. Venture beneath the surface and you'll discover a vibrant underwater adorned with colorful coral reefs and exotic fish. The first spot we stop at has some beautiful reef fish. We spend some time in their company. As you move further away, there are rocks and other corals with some larger fish, so we pull out our spears and are able to spear a couple of snapper. Eventually, we are run off by a couple of sharks and a large barracuda. The day was still young, so we venture on, finding an underwater ledge with a few holes that we thought might house some lobster. We did nab a lobster and a couple more fish here. But further ahead, Tim discovers a great area of rocks and coral heads that are full of fish. As Tim chases after a grouper, he points me to a ledge with a couple lobster. Turns out, there are more than a couple lobster there. By the time we leave, we and our buddy boat friends collect enough fish and lobster, along with the goodies we'd picked up at the farmer's market, to provide dinners for the rest of the week. On day 5, we head to the north side of the island in the dinghies to scope out some new possible snorkel and fishing spots. While we don't have much luck with that, we do find some beautiful caves embedded into the shoreline cliffs. Some were unprotected and too dangerous to enter due to the turbulent sea state, but some were protected and provided a breathtaking dinghy excursion as we glide in and out.
got you, baby, here in my heart. When I'm with you, I feel so much better, oh, yeah. Before you, I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky, oh. There's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. Follow your heart, baby, don't be shy. Just follow yours and I'll follow mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know.
Within the caves, the sun's rays penetrated through the open ceilings, reflecting off the water, dancing across the walls of the caves.
I've been waiting for the one forever. Finally, I got you, baby, here in my heart. When I'm with you, I feel so much better, oh, yeah. Before you, I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came
Several nights before, from our vantage point atop the hill at the Columbus Monument, we remembered seeing a vibrant blue estuary below, and as we made our way along the cliff, we find the interest and do some exploring.
Close your eyes, hear the voice within, calling. This heavy load got under your skin, howling. You got the white knuckles holding on tight, keeping your feelings bottled up inside, heading for collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in.
After making it back to the boat, we decided to take a small hike back to Busted Bridge to see if they were open. Turns out they are. So we take a seat at the open-air bar and are treated to great conversation with Shorn, the owner, a visit from his dogs, and the beautiful views. We end the day back at the resort, visiting with new friends. As the night wears on, an impromptu dance party breaks out. Never one to miss out on dancing or singing, the girls and I jump right in. For our final day on the island, the forecast is for sunny skies. So we decide to rent an SUV again and give Dean's Blue Hole a second chance. We start off at Hamilton's Cave. I'm not a cave person, so I'm quite anxious, but it was fantastic. Leonard is an amazing tour guide and had lots of history to share. There were holes in the roof of the cave that let sunlight and tree roots in, creating a brilliant spectacle. Although I was on the lookout for snakes, the only thing we saw, other than a lizard or two, were the cave bats. There were several different species living here, and Leonard knew just where they hung out. Next stop is lunch at the Flying Fish, and this time they're open. We have quite the view and an incredibly delicious meal. After that, we head back to Dean's Blue Hole. This time, luck was on our side as we enjoy the white sandy beach and deep blues of the water. Ever the adventurer, Tim climbs the hill and jumps in, not quite making it to the bottom 633 foot down. We enjoy snorkeling around, but I have to tell you, every time I snorkeled over that ledge of the hole, my stomach had butterflies. My mind knows I'm not going to fall into the hole, but it's just a weird feeling. The guidebooks talk about Shrimp Hole, a small cave filled with water and red shrimp, hidden behind a dilapidated church along the side of the road. There was a discussion about whether or not to stop as we were getting short on time, but in the end we agreed to, and we are so glad we did. It turned out to be one of the highlights of the trip. It was a bit tricky navigating the rocks to get into the water, but once in, we are treated to cool, clear water, sunlight casting shadows throughout the cave, and the cutest little red shrimp. As the day comes to an end, we return to the bar for one last night, feeling refreshed and exhilarated, toasting our unforgettable adventures on Long Island. If you're looking for a place to vacation, Calabash Bay in Long Island, Bahamas is a haven for those seeking a true escape from the pressure of everyday life. Its untouched beauty, pristine sands, and crystal clear waters create an idyllic setting that promises to rejuvenate the soul and create cherished memories that will last a lifetime.